the floor. It's like a thing at this point. Moderate helps everyone feel safe. Okay, that's fine. Why wouldn't they feel safe? I'm not doing anything. But hold on, let me finish getting these incense. Hey y'all. So as you know, my condolences goes out to the Scott family. About 2 hours, it has been notified that that was the body of Kada Scott found in the woods. Also, that just like I said, there is a jealous third party involved. That is a conspiracy, meaning that they knew that he was gonna unalive her. She was targeted. It was talked about. It's not nothing that just happened out the blue. In other words, okay, this was organized, planned out, organized crime. That also came out when I was doing her reading. So, ladies and gentlemen, RP to Kada Scott. Also, I did mention something about cremating fire, cremating involved concerning her. We do now find out that Keon did is in another charge is going to be arson. He did try to burn evidence by burning a vehicle, I guess, that basically had brought her, moved her body back and forth from the scene, which I believe will be later on will come to be the abandoned brick building and where her final resting place was at. Well, story, nevertheless, I'm glad that her family got closure for that. Like I've been told you guys about 7 8 days ago that the cards did had stated that she did pass away. There was fire involved. I felt like her body was being cremated, but it was actually the evidence, okay, that was actually being burnt. Now that just came out today. And then, like I said, there is a jealous female involved that has been circulating, that has came out. So another arrest is going to be made in the conspiracy. I mean, I can't really make this shit up. And like I said, it's never really 100%. When you do terror, it's all about getting the clues. Okay. It's all about getting the clues and trying to figure out what happened. Okay. Nothing's ever 100% guaranteed when it comes to channeling because they only give us clues. Okay. They, most sometimes they'll spit out certain words. If you ever listen to, I'm going to tell you what speaking or channeling. I'm making an apple martini for those that don't know. I'm always making it something. But when you're talking to somebody that has crossed on the other side, right? You ever saw a spirit box and they're like talking, but they're only spitting out like one or two or three words at a time. Can I ask you a question? Sure, you can ask a question. But when they're only speaking one or two, three words at a time, when we're channeling those that crossed over to the other side, it comes through just like that. It comes through, you know, uh, like like burning. So if I hear the word burning, I'm gonna think cremated. Like I'm not gonna think I'm gonna think that they burnt her, not the car. That makes sense. So I can only go by whatever clues is coming out in the cards, whatever clues is coming out when I hear them talking. It's not anything going to be full sentences. Even when somebody uses a spirit box, right? That actually spits out little words that they're saying. It's never full sentences. That's always how it comes through on the other side. I'm letting y'all know. They're never talking to us in real sentences. Okay, so I can only give you what we got. Finally caught you live. Hey, Libra Confessions. I didn't know that you never saw me. I could have sworn I seen you on here live before. You said it. Good evening. Yes, I got that apple martini going, y'all, and I'm using top shelf. I use Absolute for those who don't know, and then make sure you're 21 and over for those. Okay, and then also I use this one. Okay, now keep in mind this flavor. This is de caper puckers. Okay, it has a little sour to it. So if you don't really like the sour, you can add a splash of pineapple juice and it will dim the sourness down. Okay, for those who don't like sour. You said good evening. Yes, yes, yes. Not this. My first time. Like your vibe. Yes, yes, yes. Cheers. Yes. So I wanna get some before I start because I'm actually about to just do a collective reading for November. I'm not gonna do any readings on missing people right now or anything like that. But I do want to get your take on what you thought about the Kada Scott case, about the fact that they just found her, about the fact that there is a second person involved, like I kept telling y'all, even though there was only one arrest. Okay, there is a second person involved. I do believe it's going to be a female. It hasn't came out yet who the person is. I told y'all it was a female involved. Um, like a Snoop love was true for me or true for another North Carolina and cheated. I don't know what that means. Like for a Snoop love. Girl, I think that boy got more bodies. Yes, I don't think I know. I think like they're really, that's why they're really keen on people coming forward as far as any information, because I feel like he went on a killing spree, honestly. I actually got a card that came out. I'll show you what card came out concerning him. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But it basically showed multiple people on the floor, and I think that was her way of her telling us that no, there were actually way more people that he has done this to before her. Let me see if I can find it, just so I can show you how eerie it looked. And that's where I got that there's actually multiple people. And the jealousy card definitely did come out. I'm just showing you some cards that came out. That's a pair of shoes. Okay. That's why I feel like, keep in mind, like I told y'all yesterday, there wasn't even a third party, a second party that was supposed to be arrested. Here it goes. Oh my God. When I looked down, it was like right there, which scared me because I had grabbed that one and didn't know the next one was this. Okay. That scared the shit out of me. But Crime of Passion came out, and if you see, it's a man sitting in the middle of the floor, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bodies. Okay, so I feel like he's connected to more bodies, you guys, and like this is where I get it from. I like I said, I hear when I do channel them, these people, I only hear scattered words. I don't hear full sentences, and I can only go by also what's coming to me for the cards. Okay, and this card is an 81 card deck. And I only pull probably like about no more than 10. Okay, no more than 12. So with that being said, I mean, the chances of the story coming out in those 12s is really real because it's 81 cards, okay? And not all of them are like bad is what I'm saying, okay? So then I seen a video of him driving a plane. He very diverse. Oh, was he driving a plane or flying a plane? I just want to look at that like, hold on, Libra. No contact now. Oh, I don't know. You're kind of like scattered all over the place. If I could go back, hi, trying to thank you. Like for a Noop love was true for me or true for another North Carolina and cheated. I don't know because I'm not really getting what you wrote there. Flying, right? Okay. So he was okay. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's so sad that this man could have had many talents, but he chose to be a low life and attack women. Hold on. And attack women. I'm going out with my friend Melody tonight, and she's the designated driver. So, I'm starting early. And I don't know about y'all, but when I get a designated driver and I could get towed up, I get towed up, okay, from the floor. So I'm probably gonna have a hangover tomorrow. But nevertheless, it was like I said, it was a couple of things that I broke in that story. Like I said, I did mention Woods in the beginning, although like I said, I kept getting the feeling that she didn't leave the building, and that's because she didn't leave the building. Okay, she didn't leave the building. It wasn't the building that she worked from. She didn't leave the abandoned building that she was in. Okay, I feel like he came there later. Like I said, like about when she told me it was 2 days later, right at midnight on a Wednesday, which makes it Thursday, and she came up missing, I believe, like on a Tuesday, which was the 14th, or Monday, one of the two. It was Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Okay, she came up missing. So like now everything is coming out. So other cards that came out also was like flames and stuff like that, and that makes sense because he burnt the car up. Okay, he was trying to burn up the evidence. Okay, so that was another thing. Also, surveillance came out. They actually caught his car. They actually was able to catch the black Hyundai, not the one that they picked up, another car. Okay, that was the one that was actually used in the transferring the body from from that abandoned school to the woods. Okay, because that's a long walk from where she was found. I mean, I guess he didn't have the balls to throw her over his shoulder and just walk her because she was a pretty thin girl. I meant, did Anoop love me truly or Anetta? No contact and cheated with her. Okay, you're asking a particular question or somebody. Okay, I'll answer it before I leave. He thought he was smart, right? I guess he figured like if he get another car, right, that's not his, it wouldn't be connected because just like what happened when they did found him, they looked for the gray car. They wasn't even considering there was another car involved. The only reason why the other car came into factor was because, like I said, the surveillance that was going to be found, that was going to lead to who this second party is. I just said that. Mind you, this just came out today. Go look at the video I did yesterday. Okay. This just broke today. And I told you that they was going to find out about the second person due to this surveillance with this vehicle, which they did. Okay. So there's a conspiracy going on with the case, which means there is a second party. There is going to be arrest that's going to be made today. They're not saying who it is, but I could bet my bottom dollar, okay, it is involving a female. Okay, I heard rumors about it being his brother helping him with the body, but a conspiracy is somebody who knew about it way in advance. Okay, way in advance. Okay, meaning that it was a plot to unalive her. Okay, it was a strategy. It was organized crime. Okay, it was organized. Organized crime doesn't have to be more. It's just more than one person. Okay, organized crime is more than one person, so it can be two people. Once it's two people, it's considered organized crime because you're going back and forth with somebody, right? Conspiring to murder. Definitely another party involved. Yes, and I kept saying that, and everybody kept saying, "Girl, they already have the killer. Shut up." I'm like, no, because I know the card that came out, and the card that came out was jealousy. Okay, came out with that, and it's a girl. Okay, it's a girl. She gave up her whereabouts. She gave information knowing that this was a very dangerous man, and I am gonna have a feeling that it's that girl that claims that he's her friend, which her name is like Gabby or something like that. Like I'm getting it's Gabby because first of all, the shit that she said didn't even make any sense. She said that that was a really good friend of hers, but then she kept saying when I found out the news that she was missing, like I just couldn't believe. I just couldn't believe it could be him. Because how can he do? How the fuck you couldn't believe that he could do something like that when you clearly stated that that was a really good friend of yours and you knew he just came out of jail from SA and trying to kidnap somebody else? How didn't you know that? How didn't you know that if you was really his friend? I mean, if that's your friend, you're gonna know they went to jail and what they went to jail for. Especially is it something as a serious crime as SAing somebody and trying to kidnap them. Okay, especially because it was against his current girlfriend. The first case wasn't with Kada Scott. Kada Scott was just, I feel, a random. The first one was actually the girlfriend, okay, that he had been with before, and then he just decided to drag her out the house, pull her into his vehicle, SA her with a child sitting in the back seat in the car seat, which was his biological child. It's a lot going on, right? Her and then the way she said it is like yeah, I just want, like, she was talking very coarse, like it didn't sound like it sounded very much like she was reading off a prompter, like literally, like. And I believe it's going to be Gabby. I believe Gabby's going to get picked up because where she messed up also was she had wrote a friend and stated something about not only her missing but her being dead, and that was before anybody even knew she was dead. Okay, so she gave up some information about her being dead, and nobody considered her dead yet. You understand what I'm saying? That's like a lot of people get caught. Okay, they telling themselves based on telling people shit, and they didn't even, nobody knew. Well how would you know that? You see what I'm saying? Jealousy. Okay, jealousy. Okay, it's crazy. And I do believe there was another girl, she was showing a video talking about how she walks her dog and this, that, and the third, but she didn't know her. Yeah, it was a lot of stalking going on with this girl, very beautiful girl. I said it from the beginning that it was this. Now as far as the cremation, I guess I was off with that. I did see flames, so the first thing I thought about was her being cremated, and that's what led me to that belief. But it's actually still flames involved because he is facing arson is one of his other charges, and that's because he tried to burn the vehicle up with said, and to cover up with a conspiracy to cover up. Okay, whatever evidence of her hair, whatever could have been in the car, because clearly, whatever happened in that car. Mhm. So it says, yes, I just seen the video circulating about Gabby girl, very fishy. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised. It's either her brother or it's either her. It's either his brother, I mean, or either her. But like I said, she stated that she was dead before anybody knew. So you think that the girl is fishy, and they said Gabby took her social media down. I don't know, which is why I don't know if Gabby took her social media down. But what I do know is the story's not making sense. Okay. You know your friends and you know what your friends are capable of. Okay. For you to be the one that said, not only did she admit that block somebody, I hope I don't have to block. Because if you know I'm on live, why do you keep calling me? I'm not understanding. Then when you block people, they be mad. But my thing about it is this. She taught, and can you guys still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me, because I don't want to keep talking if you guys can't still hear me. Let me know if you can still hear me. Put a one in the room if you can still hear me. And sorry for that. Somebody keeps calling me. That's annoying. If you know I'm live, why would you keep calling me? Like, that's how you get blocked real quick. Okay, cool. So my thing about it is where her lies come up at, guys, is when she says, oh, I didn't even know he was capable of that. That already right there threw a red flag. Then she's trying to be savvy and take screenshots of her conversation. That was the nail in the coffin. Okay. Why would you mention she's dead? Nobody even talked about her being dead. Why would you just go straight to death? You just went straight to death row. You know what I mean? She's missing. People are looking for her. Now she's missing. She's dead. Okay. And see, one thing about them interrogations, baby, when it's time to interrogate your ass and they bring your ass in for questioning and you humming, and they point out to you number 9, where you this line right here, exhibit number 1, when you said she was dead. Why did you assume that? And then that's when it's gonna dawn on them. Holy shit. I done sat up here and told her my motherfucking self. Okay. So she possibly was there. Okay, somehow, some way, or just knew ahead. Now, also, it's another thing coming up that her phone pinged over there by Gabby's house, prior to it pinging at the school, which means that she possibly could have lured her. Now, I'm just trying to figure out how, or that means that somehow she was taken directly from where she worked at and taken by Gabby over there in that area, and then taken over there by the other area. Does that make sense? So we're gonna find out how it's all transpiring. But like I said from the beginning, what I got from that was that she was unalived. I got that off the gate. The fact that Woods did come out when I showed y'all the instance, it was actually this box. Actually, it was Forrest. Forrest did come out. I showed you guys the box, and I said, I'm hoping she's not in a forest. You know what I mean? But like I said, I got that she never left the building, and it's because she was still in a building. It just wasn't the same building she was working at. Okay. So I was really hot as far as like on the trail of it, and fire him, it being arson and also being the third party in the situation is valid. Okay. The surveillance that, like I said, the surveillance that they did finally find yesterday led to the vehicle, and it's going to lead to the second arrest that they said is going to be actually done later today. So by tomorrow, we will know who the second person is and also what their charges are. Okay. So this is not, nevertheless, it's not an exciting moment. You know what I mean? When I have a daughter that age, you know what I mean? And I'm always, really strict. And she's like, yeah, ma, yeah, ma. Yeah. Like, but I know there are crazy people in this world. There's a lot of jealous females. You will be surprised how jealous females are, to the point where they don't want to see you breathing anymore. Okay. And I know, because I've been there. Okay. I've been through a lot of situations where I had so-called best friends who knew that I was dating violent men, and will purposely say things to them to make them hurt me. Okay, this is a fact. not something that I'm just saying. I actually experienced this plenty of times. I mean, I done got through down flight of steps behind stuff that I'm realizing as I got older. Like holy shit. Yeah, this must have been something that such and such told. Like, it don't dawn until you later, until you're like, why is it that, how is this person getting the information, and you just never think it's your best friend? And we are not best friends at this moment, okay? Mm. But I could have been a lot unalived plenty of times, is what I'm saying. Behind jealous female going to tell your already crazy significant other, they know this person's crazy, and they come to tell them certain things to make them react, and then just sit back and watch. You know what I mean? Because nobody's gonna know. If I was to have come up unalive, nobody's gonna know that my best friend went and told my significant other at the time anything to make him do what he did. Does that make sense? So they get off. It's kind of like killing two birds with one stone almost. That's why I say to myself, yes, you can't trust people. Stays preach to my boys. Yes, and it can happen to boys too. You know what I mean? Like, boys get set up all the time. That's why we got to be very careful with our girls and make sure that, if you're going into a group of friends, make sure that you bring one of your friends. Don't go to any friend's house and it's just you and it's all their friends. Okay. That has been times where I've been literally cornered in the basement by the same female. It just never really dawned on me until I got older that this can all be her doings, because she played that best friend card very well, very well. And through the grace of God, I was able to get out of a lot of situations that I may not even be sitting here talking to y'all today. Okay, so when I say jealous females could put you in situations where you can get unalive, I mean that. And for Gabby to really sit up here and say that I didn't know he was capable of that, but you just said that's your best friend. How you don't know he just got out of jail for SAing, all right, another girl in his vehicle and kidnapping? How you don't know that? So when he started questioning about Kada, I know the first thing that probably came to her mind is, oh yeah, yeah, this where she lived. She be out here. This is her job. She be over there. Okay, and talking like that. Now I don't know if he called Kada to come outside or she called Kada. You see what I'm saying? So for it to be a conspiracy, there has to be some type of tie of her luring her. Okay, luring her. Hey, Kada, what's up? Come outside or whatever, whatever. Somehow, some type of way. Trust me when I tell you, conspiracy is deeper. It has to be some hardcore evidence, and for them to say they already have enough evidence for an arrest, okay, speaks volumes. Okay, because it's either communication wise or it's physical. Okay, meaning that they saw her help him with the body or saw his brother help him. She probably did it for some smoke. I won't even say some smoke. It's exactly that. She wanted to see something happen. She wanted to see something happen. Very much something happen. I don't think that she thought he was gonna go all away and unalive her. And that's why you don't set people up, right? Because you don't know where it's gonna lead to. And you're gonna be the common denominator. And the law is not gonna care if you set it up and then she got unalive. You still set it up. Okay, she probably was thinking he was just gonna SA her like he did the other girl, right, and let her go, and then she'd be stuck with that memory of him SAing her. You see what I'm saying? I don't think she really considered that he was gonna go all the way. Okay, that's why she said missing, and then she said dead. Why would you say dead? Let's just put our hands up. Okay, like why would you say dead? Say off the top of the brain. You know something, because nobody knew she was dead. Okay, even I didn't know. I just was pulling out the cards and telling y'all what the card said. You know what I mean? But I came up here to say what I need to say. I'm gonna do. I probably won't even do a collecting, because I was gonna just talk about it briefly, but we done got so deep into the conversation. Now, as far as, I don't know if she's still here. She wanted me to answer a question for her. I meant, did Anoop love me truly or Anetta? No contact and cheated with her. Okay, did Anoop love you truly? Okay, Poonam. Poonam, if you're still here, put a one in the room. I still do it because I told you that I was. But mm-mm. That's a lot, y'all. Now I'm up here wet my card. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot right there. Okay. So yeah, we're all gonna sit back and we're gonna follow the story and we're gonna look tomorrow to see who this second person is. And baby, when I say that thing is gonna go viral, it's gonna go viral. Okay, because that whoever this person is the person who, because she wouldn't even know who she was if it wasn't for this person. You know what I mean? And I hate to say that because it could have happened to anybody. And I feel like he was attacking anybody. Okay, he just stole that Honda. That was a stolen vehicle. That nigga was on one. He was on. You got to keep in mind, you just got off of SAing somebody and doing it with a minor in the back of the car in the car seat and trespassing and all. You just got off on all of that scot free because the person didn't show up, and you go back out and you still a vehicle. You still a vehicle on the 4th, and then you kidnap somebody on the 14th. 10 days later, that nigga was on one. Ain't no telling what he was doing from the 4th to the 10 days. What was he doing for those 10 days in between? What was he doing? Okay. Zanab Cancer is the next zodiac sign in 2026 emotionally. Okay. Is that true? His father worked for the law enforcement? I don't know. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. And they should be ashamed of themselves if he does and they letting him off. Because a lot of these damn kids that have parents that are in the law and that are lawyers get that pretty privilege. They do. And like, it's not for nothing. Just because you're a cop doesn't mean that your child ain't demonic. Okay. Because I don't think that they're bad kids. I think that they're people that call a demonic spirit that has them doing these things. Because if that's the case, we will all be doing it. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I tell you, these are demonic forces that get a hold of these people and have them thinking and doing these things. Like, the other victim says she never received anything from court. No, she just never went. She had to receive, so she definitely got subpoenaed to court. She said she didn't show up. And so since she didn't show up, he was able to let off scot free and he was out on $20,000 bail anyway. Meaning that's why she didn't go, because she was like, well, how am I going to go to court? He's already out. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So yeah, she had there's no way you can get called in to come into court unless you've been subpoenaed. That's law. Hmm. I know a little bit about law. I used to watch Perry Mason with my dad all the time. I told you I'm 45, not 25. So I got a little history, okay, of watching a lot of law with my dad. Okay, so I know a lot about the law. Please raise my papers. Okay, let me let you out. I'm gonna help you out so you don't have to worry about this page no more. Cause I don't be like nobody trying to spam. But yeah, so I'm gonna get off of here, y'all, because my friend's actually on the way to come get me. And I'll do I'm gonna do some zodiac readings. I'm gonna get off of this because this criminal investigation stuff, I just stumbled upon it. I learned that I'm really good at it, but I've been noticing it been draining me a lot more. And I'm not saying that I don't find tarot fun anymore, because I do enjoy breaking the cases, but I'm starting to find myself getting a little paranoid. You know what I mean? Then I just watched this episode of this other lady. She calls herself hidden crime hidden. She goes by hidden crime podcast, hidden crime podcast, and she does the same thing I'm doing, but not via tarot cards, just breaking cases. And she's actually being stalked right now. Her and her family. So, it gets kind of to the point where it's like you want to help, but in the same token, like you don't want to be caught up in something that you don't want to be caught up in at the end of the day. So like I'm trying to kind of figure out if this is something that I want to keep actually doing, even though I'm really, really good at it. Or I will just go back to doing zodiac signs and staying safe, even though I do carry. I do, Atlanta is open carry. Mhm. I feel you. The crazy stuff that's going on these days is scary. It is, and I do have a child. A older adult, and like that. This is the reason why the Kada Scott situation was so doggone close to me, because I have a daughter that's the same age. She also bartends, and then she's also in nursing school. You know what I mean? So she has, that could be a lot for girls who are the same age but don't have the drive, don't have the aspiration, don't have the family backing them. They don't have no help. They probably, they wish they can go to college. You know what I mean? They wish they had parents that, and so that becomes a lot. Because if you already look like something, I'm telling you, I was going through this when I was young, and it's just because I looked like something. If y'all can imagine what I look like at 45, about like 22, 25, 5'7", 136 pack, no kids. Okay, and predominantly light skin in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went through hell. I went through literal hell, but I can fight my ass off, and that's why nobody really fucked with me physically. But they would do other things. That's what I'm trying to say. They would do other things. You know what I mean? And so, like, this is another thing, because if they was jealous of her, one could have just went up to her and wanted to fight her, right? But they went to the extremes to sick a fucking psychopath on her. There's a conspiracy charge here, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think that's with his brother. It's a female involved. It's a female. You feel me? And we are going to see. And you remember I predicted it here. I predicted it here first, okay, from the beginning, okay, from part one, before part two, part three, and all the other parts came. Okay, I told y'all that it was a jealous female involved. So we gotta protect our kids. We gotta see who our kids are hanging out with. I've been noticing nowadays also, and I want to talk about that before I go. We gotta be careful with our female daughters in clubs, and they're not using guerrilla pimp warfare anymore. Okay, they're using other females, to walk up to our young women within the ages of 18 to about 25, like, hey girl, you seem cool, let's hang out. Very passive aggressive, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? But then they get to know them, hang out with them, and they bring them to the trap. Okay, trying to bring them into that world slowly but surely. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. Okay, this is another thing we need to talk about. Okay, they're not doing it like they used to. Okay, so when you guys think like, how did my child end up in the X industry? It's because it was done passively. It's being done passively aggressive now. Like, come, sending another one of the females, one of them who is particularly their age. You know what I mean? Tell them we need to come over here and probably smoke some pot, have a good time. But it's a more coerced, okay, demonic tactic, okay, that's connected to that. So we got to be really, really, really aware of where our kids at all the time, who they associate in themselves with, all of that. What they do, what do you do? You know what I mean? I'm serious. And don't think that your child is 18 and so you could just be like, oh, she's 18. Like I was an exotic stripper by 16. Okay, y'all don't even want to hear my story. Maybe one day I will get into my story. Okay, but I'm saying that to say, where did that come about though? That came about from said best friend, who was claiming to be my friend. That was like, hey girl, we need to go to this club. We can make money up. We was only 16. I would never even been in that lifestyle or known about that lifestyle. It was based upon my proximity. Okay. And once again, I'm coming in with the passive aggressiveness about it. Okay. And then when you turn around, you're full blown into the bullshit. Okay. So I say that to say we have to be, even our young ones that are only 18. Yes, they're adults, but they still are very easily influenced. Okay, and can be approached by somebody their own age. This is what I'm trying to explain to y'all. And then finally at the top of the chain, by the time they realize they're already caught up in some shit they can't get themselves out of. Okay. So I do want to talk about that. It's a whole different ball game. It's not like the gorilla pimp back in the days where they still probably got them now, where they grab your a young one or a teenager and force them. They still got that. Okay, but what I'm saying is they are getting a savvy with it even more now, and I just found that out recently. Clock the T. I'm trying to tell y'all. Clock it. Okay, I was on it. I'm on it. I'm on my job 24/7. Okay, Mama Bear is on the job 24/7. Okay, it says, yes, I have motivated daughter in nursing, always preaching, watch your social and study by yourself. Yes, I beat my 10-year-old in the head with the fool me once saying yes. Okay, I was smart, sneaky, messing with the teens. That's why I say stay on my girl's neck. Period. Stay on it. Okay. Because and I hate to say it, just like this similar situation, right? I don't feel like, and I hate to say it, they was prying into her business enough. And so when they get upset, like we're prying into their business enough, No, not a lot, just a little bit. Like when you got a new friend coming around. Yeah, I need to know who that is. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just wellness checks. Okay, well, heavy on the wellness checks is what I'm saying. Okay, with our young girls, because just because they're young, okay, like I said, Kada was young. She was like 23, right? Okay, she wasn't a child, and somehow, some way, she still got caught up in this Gabby girl situation. She still got caught up in this Keon situation, and it's because it was some type of association. That's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. Okay. So we got to be careful with the associates. Who's the associates? And Roblox. I'm just saying for an example. A lot of these kids are being stalked on Instagram, Facebook, Roblox, whatever. We have to check to see where the chains of communication are, or an association. Okay, so we can keep our children safe. Okay, I mean, I can go into depth. I don't wish to, but I've been on the chain back in the days of the social media situation, where that has went all the way left, and this is before it was even brought to our attention back in the days. And then I have recently been in a situation where I've seen something that I didn't like, and it was another passive aggressive situation. Okay, with me and mines. So we have to really wake up their eyes and let them know you can't just let anybody walk up to you no more and say, "Hey, you're cool. Let's hang out." Okay? Because you don't know really what they into, how that can change your life. Okay? And I've had times where I've had talks, and there's been talks of even recreational drugs. Okay? And I'm not talking about no marijuana, recreational drugs. Okay, either which way, it can go deep. Okay, I don't like to go in depth about my business. I'm just simply talking about awareness. Okay, and I can only give you little bits and clues of how it's going on, so that way you can double check. If you gotta go in that phone, go in that phone. Okay, it's been times when I take numbers, and guess what? I'm already googling it, and I knew before you knew. Clock it. Clock it. I was already googling that number. Clock it. I was on it. Clock it. Okay. And it's not about. I rather slightly pry and be on the upside of things than. And I hate to say this, y'all ready? Because I'm not trying to be insensitive, but wind up on the Channel 5 news talking about some. Yeah. She was telling us that somebody was harassing her, but we didn't know who it was. Okay. That's what we're not gonna do. This is what we're not gonna do. And then when it all came out, Kata Scott's mom said that what happened is she had told one of her friends, and they're just finding out about it. Is what I'm saying. Okay, so we have to have that conversation with a kid. Like, look, if you're being harassed, the person you come is to me. The first person you're going to visit is me and talk to me about who's harassing you, even if it's minuscule, even if it's a slight. I'm gonna see you when I see you. You're on my fucking radar. You know what I'm saying? I need that person's social media. I need that person's name. So if anything could happen, I could put, you know what I'm saying? I could, right. And you want to be, that's exactly about the time you want to be on alert. Oh, I'm going to take you to school. Oh, I'll give you the ride. I'm going to follow you. I'll follow you there. I ain't doing none today. Somebody going to follow you. Okay. And be on their back for a while. Because if she was being stalked, then if she was being stalked, is what I'm saying, then she should have been stalked by a family member too, along with her ass, everywhere she was going. Because it don't take nothing to take somebody to work and make sure they leave work and get to where they gotta go. Okay. And I know it sounds lengthy, but what we gonna do? We gonna let her just go to work after we just know somebody's stalking her, and now y'all don't see her ever again, right? So sometimes if you gotta do that midnight shift or whatever you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not saying what she did was wrong, but what I'm saying is somebody should have been in her business. That's what I said. And she'll still be alive. And trust me, she'll be appreciative, okay, when she reaches her 40s and she was able to live a 20 more years. Okay. Because maybe you was a little bit more in her business. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. You'll survive to see another day. Mm-hmm. And y'all know I be going off. Y'all know. Y'all ain't never even seen me go off yet. I'm a pretty face, but baby, I be going the fuck off. Like once I be passionate about something, the voice gonna go from you know, welcome to my channel. Straight to the motherfucker left with it. Like, especially when it comes to the kids, y'all. Parents name where they live. I don't understand that. Yes, parents name. It said in making my own drinks, eating before I leave. People too iffy. Yeah, we gotta all that. Gotta watch people drink everything. But yeah, catch y'all later. Bye.